The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human delegation entered. At the center of the group walked a small figure that drew every eye in the room. A human child, no more than 12 standard cycles old, with messy dark hair and eyes that sparkled with barely contained curiosity. "This is their solution?" Ambassador Threx of the Vryn Confederacy growled, his scaled lips curling in disdain. "A juvenile?" The human ambassador, Dr. Sarah Chen, placed a steady hand on the boy's shoulder. "This is Eli Hartman. He has been studying your communications with the Cathara for the past 6 months." Laughter erupted throughout the chamber. The Cathara problem had plagued the galaxy for 3 years. The massive feline aliens had appeared from beyond the void sector, their ships bristling with weapons that made even the mighty Vryn fleet look primitive. Yet despite countless attempts at communication, every species had failed to make contact. The Cathara responded to all overtures with the same incomprehensible series of growls, hisses, and subsonic rumbles that seemed more beast than language. The finest linguists from 100 worlds had tried and failed. The Zealothan collective consciousness, with its million minds working in harmony, had declared the task impossible. Even the ancient architects who had seeded life across the galaxy had no reference for such a communication system. And now, humanity sent a child. "With respect, Ambassador Chen," said Chancellor Morvex, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "We have exhausted every resource. The Cathara attacks continue. We lose colony worlds monthly. What can this juvenile possibly accomplish?" Eli stepped forward, his small frame dwarfed by the towering aliens around him. "You've been listening wrong," he said simply. The chamber erupted in jeers. Ambassador Threx slammed his massive fist on his console. "Arrogance! Humanity has been in the stars for barely 2 centuries, and you dare suggest we, who have studied linguistics for millennia, are listening wrong." Eli didn't flinch. Instead, he pulled out a small device and pressed a button. The chamber's speakers came to life with a recording of Cathara communication, a cacophony of roars, purrs, and guttural sounds that seemed random and bestial. "You hear animals?" Eli said quietly. "Because you're only listening with your ears." He pressed another button. The recording played again, but this time holographic displays materialized above the chamber floor. Waves of color pulsed and danced in intricate patterns synchronized with the sounds. Temperature gradients appeared, showing microscopic fluctuations. Scent molecules were mapped in 3-dimensional space. "The Cathara don't just speak with sound," Eli explained, his voice growing stronger. "They communicate through a symphony of sensory inputs. The vocal elements you've been analyzing? That's only 20% of their language. The rest is scent markers, temperature variations, and electromagnetic pulses that their fur generates and detects." The chamber fell utterly silent. "Humans have cats," Eli continued, warming to his subject. "On Earth, I mean. Small feline animals. They communicate in complex ways that most people miss. Body language, scent marking, vocal tones that convey dozens of meanings. When I listened to the Cathara recordings, I heard something familiar. I heard cats. Big, scary, spacefaring cats, but cats nonetheless." He manipulated the holographic display, highlighting specific patterns. "See here? This low-frequency rumble combined with this specific scent compound and a Caruso 3-degree temperature drop. That's not aggression. It's a formal greeting. You've been interpreting it as a threat declaration because you focused only on the sound, which in isolation does sound threatening. But together with the other elements, it's actually quite polite." Chancellor Morvex leaned forward, his skepticism wavering. "If what you say is true, why hasn't anyone else discovered this?" Eli shrugged, a very human gesture. "Because you were looking for complexity in the wrong places. You expected advanced aliens to communicate in purely abstract, sophisticated ways. But the Cathara evolved from apex predators just like cats on Earth. Their language retains elements of their evolutionary heritage. It's sophisticated, yes, but it's rooted in instinct and sensory richness, not abstract symbolism." "Prove it," Ambassador Threx demanded. Eli nodded. He had been waiting for this. From his pocket, he produced another device. This one cobbled together from human technology and pieces he'd begged from various alien vendors in the station's markets. It looked crude, almost comical, but when he activated it, the device began emitting the complex, multi-layered signals he'd described. He spoke into it, and his words were translated not into simple sounds, but into the full spectrum of Cathara communication. Honored Cathara, we seek peace and understanding. For a long moment, nothing happened. The chamber held its collective breath. Then every screen in the council chamber flickered to life. A massive Cathara face appeared, its amber eyes intelligent and piercing. When it spoke, Eli's device translated the multi-sensory barrage into something the council could understand. Finally, the Cathara commander said, her voice rich with relief and what might have been amusement. We had begun to think the younger races were deaf and scent-blind. We have been asking for a simple thing these 3 years. Safe passage through the void sector to reach the hunting grounds beyond. You kept responding with what we interpreted as territorial challenges. We defended ourselves accordingly. Ambassador Threx's scales paled. Hunting grounds? Uninhabited space, the Cathara clarified. Rich with asteroid minerals we need for our colony ships. We have no interest in your settled worlds. We only wish to pass through. 3 years of conflict. Hundreds of thousands dead. Entire colonies evacuated. All because of a translation error. Eli stepped back as the adults took over, negotiating terms of passage and peace. He felt Dr. Chen's hand on his shoulder again, this time squeezing with pride. As the Cathara commander's image faded, she paused, her gaze falling on Eli. In a gesture that needed no translation, she touched her massive paw to her chest, a sign of respect among her people. The small human sees clearly, she said. Perhaps there is hope for your species after all. The chamber erupted in activity, but Eli simply smiled. Sometimes the solution wasn't about being the strongest or the most advanced. Sometimes it was about being willing to see things differently, to listen with more than just your ears, and to remember that even among the stars, the basics still mattered. After all, as his grandmother used to say back on Earth, every cat person knows that communication is about more than just words.